I'm in Donetsk region. I visited today the front line. It's the 60th day of Russians' war against Ukraine, and Russian troops started the so-called second phase. They announced that this war will last until they make a so-called landway from Russia to Crimea, and it means that they actually acknowledge that they want to acquire Ukrainian lands in Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, Mykolaiv and Odessa regions. The key word of this phase is intensification. Everything has intensified. Russians shell twice more bombs than they used to. They use more troops than they used to. Ukrainian army remains on their positions. We repel very successfully, and the actual mood and morale on the front line is high. However, Ukrainian army really desperately needs hard artillery. It's what the people on the front line say, and people also feel that the war is coming. They flee from the war-torn regions, and according to the regional government, there are just 400,000 people left in Donetsk region, and before the war in our region used to live more than 4 million of people. So it means that the population of this region has decreased in 10 times, and the situation is different from the 2014 when most people actually remained and the considerable number of people left, but majority of people actually stayed in their region. Now the situation is different because people saw what Russian troops are about. They saw this extreme level of violence that Russians shown in Bucha, Irpin, and of course in Ukrainian Mariupol. Mariupol is a very hot point now. The situation there is very hot. It's just a small bunch of Ukrainian military who still controls that seaport, and even though Russian military reported to Putin that they have captured Mariupol, it isn't true. But the bad news is that Ukraine cannot deliver supplies neither to civilian population nor to the military, and that is why the situation in Mariupol remains extremely hard. Our government said that Ukraine will actually withdraw from the peace talks if situation in Mariupol would get worse, or if Russians conduct a so-called referendums on the occupied territory. Russians actually plan to turn the Ukrainian occupied territories into shady, non-recognized republics, like they did it with Donetsk and Lugansk regions already. And of course it will be all staged, because we saw Ukrainian resistance in that region, and we saw how Ukrainians without no arms tried to stop Russian tanks and stand for Ukraine. So the situation along the way is not calm at all. We witnessed big explosions some 10 or 20 kilometers from where we were, and it's actually announced the air raid siren here in Donetsk region, and it's already late afternoon, and we're making our way home to Dnipro through these very typical Donetsk towns and villages that actually prepared to the war and waiting for the war to come, but still believe in something good and in something better.